Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and I want to start the morning off by saying good morning, Java. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Let me get my headphones on. I'll be doing better.
Got to look all important. All background I've got here is a little thing that I made with little trees and shrubs and stuff, and an acorn hat that I made because it is still winter.
Yeah, I think that is one of my favorite backgrounds. That is the guy. He got an acorn hat. He's going about his business.
Look, how about this?
Uh-oh, side profile. That's you, Felder.
Do we sort of look alike?
Yeah, man.
Except he's got green hair. Well, the Muppet thing that y'all did for him has got green hair. But anyway, got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I've got a really, really fun interview coming up in the second hour. Really fun. I think it's one of the most unusual interviews I think you and I will ever do. We'll see. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about, Java. Y'all have had some weird weather, but it's like past spring right now out there.
Yeah, and that's the tricky part because we have another freeze coming, so it's a confusing time for all of the plants. They're like, should I come out? Should I come out?
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that can be done, in this weather. There's some things you really ought to wait on. This warm weather and the sun and all that makes us want to do summer stuff. A lot of people keep saying, "Oh, these things are blooming," which we'll talk about. Things that are blooming right now. Spring's almost here. I'm thinking, no, spring is not almost here. It is winter and it is beautiful. You don't have to wait for spring. Daffodils and the wild pears and all those things, they're not saying spring is almost here. They're saying, ain't it great to be in the deep South in the winter? So I'm not saying these are hinting on something. I'm saying gather ye, what would it be? Gather ye
daffodils?
Hellebores while ye may.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, there's been a lot of interesting stuff going on. Last week, I had just gotten back from a driving trip. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to see if we could start off by showing a picture of a garden I visited. As photo number one. Those of you who are watching on live stream, or if you're not, go to YouTube and type in Gestalt Gardener, or go to mpbonline.org and take a look at this. Yeah, this is a guy. I've known this man for years and years and years. His name is Pearl Fryer. Pearl is he's a retired school bus driver. When he gets home, he can't help himself. He prunes and prunes and prunes. He shapes up all the shrubs to the point where his garden is now is a thing. It's got signs going to it. But I just want to let you know that even though I don't cut my hair, I really appreciate over-the-top topiary. And this guy, Pearl Fryer, is really over the top. Pearl, Fryer, if you want to look up his garden. Pearl Fryer, I think he'd call it the art garden, but it's really a sculpture garden. And when I got back, let's go and put up picture number two. This is what my cacti and succulents, and I keep telling Java that they're plants that will grow without any real care. I grow cacti and succulents indoors that'll freeze, but I have some outdoors, and this is what it looks like after going through this past winter. And it got really, really cold, but this has been sitting outside in my garden for 2 years, I guess. Just to give you an idea that there are hardy cacti, hardy succulents that are unusual, but they don't need any care. They don't need watering in the summertime. They don't need covering in the winter. And it's sort of not everybody's cup of tea. But if you like interesting or unusual plants, some of the hardy succulents and cacti, they've been around for a long time. I just find the different ones and put them together into one little collection, so it sort of looks like I know what I'm doing. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that you can have some unusual plants without having to really do much.
And you for sure know how to accessorize with your plants right there. In the picture, you got the bottle tree and the bulbs.
Yeah, I also put little pieces of driftwood in there to look kind of nice. I wish I could find a little miniature cow skull or something that looks like a desert. There's a lot of stuff going on this time of year, Java. Events are starting to pick up, and I got 3 I want to mention. First of all, the home fruit seminar I did last week at Hutto's, it was over the top. We had over 100 people there, and we just talked about different kinds of fruit and the difference between, whether what makes some plants bloom too early or not bloom at all, called chilling hours. Anyway, that was fun. But this weekend, the February the 28th, this Saturday, there's going to be a free seed swap. It's at a little garden center downtown Clarksdale, right across from the library, right down from the Blues Museum, which we broadcast from before. It's called The Collective. It used to be Miss Dell's or Dell's Garden Center, but The Collective, right across from the library. I do talk to every April at the Juke Joint Festival. Anyway, it's a plant swap, and it starts at 2:00 in the afternoon. If you want to bring seeds or plants to swap, if you have any, otherwise just come on down. It'll be a good thing to do just to sort of see what other people are growing. There's going to be another plant swap this weekend in just north of Jackson. There's a garden center that's called, I've known it forever. I go there all the, what's the name? Martinson's Garden Works. Martinson's Garden Works is just north of the Natchez Trace on Highway 51, just north of Jackson. They're having a big plant swap. A lot of bizarre, unkillable type of plants, but it's going to start at 10 and last till 12 in Martinson's Garden Works here on Highway 51, just north of Jackson. And then next week is going to be the Camellia Show, the Mid-South, I guess Mid-South. It's going to be a Camellia Show in Brookhaven. We'll talk about that next week. But anyway, if anybody's got events that they'd like us to promote, talk about, be real happy to. Just send them to us. Java, there's some things that people really ought to be doing this time of year. Something you really shouldn't. One is pruning. I pruned my fig tree last weekend. I followed the tip of where everything stopped growing. I followed it back to where it started in the spring, and I left about half of that. So I got a gnarly looking, more of a fig bush. If you're not sure what that looks like, imagine holding up a handful of deer antlers. It's short and squat. They're sort of sticking out like that. That's what it needs. Otherwise, you got a big old tree that you've got to use a rake to drag the limbs down from. It's a good time if you aren't pruning your roses. Even though, Java, a lot of people's roses have already started budding out. Don't worry about that. They start budding out. And a lot of times that'll freeze actually. But if you're going to cut your roses back, even if it's got new growth on it, you're going to cut that off anyway. So just don't let that soften your heart. Cut your roses back. I would not prune climbing roses because they're going to bloom this spring on what's already out there. Let's wait till after they finish blooming before you prune the climbing roses. Also, I would not prune blueberries or blackberries because there goes this year's fruits. But other than that, good time to shape up, cut some things back, maybe neaten up your crepe myrtle, your fruit trees or whatever. I'd also encourage people to sow some lettuces in pots. If you want to get different mixed lettuce, get a little small pot, maybe 3 pots, and sprinkle a little bit of lettuce seeds on one every other week. You'll have a continuous harvest, a really nice little mixed salad. So, Java, you got to let me know if we ever get any calls because I'm just blathering here.
Well, yeah, man, we got 2 calls lined up, one in Jackson, one in Hattiesburg, and I guess we can go ahead and start things off with Jim in Jackson.
Okay. Good morning, Jim. How are you doing?
Good morning, Felder. Jim Rosenblatt here. And that's a great poem, the line you quoted from. It goes, "Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, O time is still a-flying. And this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow
will be a dying. That's right. You know, and it's not Jim. It's not hedonistic to enjoy the here and now. It's not hedonistic at all. A lot of people put stuff off instead of realizing the value of what's going on around them right now. But anyway, thank you for that.
That poem is over 350 years old.
Yep, gather ye rosebuds while ye may. And in this case, it would be gather ye daffodils while ye may.
Felder, my question today, though, is about liriape. In the past, I have simply allowed the new growth to grow up through the old growth in the liriape in the spring. But I've been advised that it might be good to trim the liriape back to let the new growth come out easier and cleaner. Is that the case?
Well, it is if you've got the time for it. Liriape, some people call it liriope. Technically, it's supposed to be liriope because it's after a Greek nymph. But monkey grass, if you cut it back now, then if you have little leaf spot diseases, that'll keep the new growth from getting disease. But if you cut it back now, everything can come up real nice and neat. You can do that also with the ferns that die down. Aspidistra cast iron plant. Here's a rub though, Jim. If you put it off, the new growth that may be starting to push up right now, if you nip the tip of it, it's going to look ragged till next year. So when you see, cut as far down as you can without hitting any of the new growth. You can use a string trimmer if you want, if you really rev it up. But sometimes it's better if you can just to grab it and just snip it with some snipping shears or something. But if you're going to cut it with a string trimmer, use as high a speed as possible so you don't make it too ragged. But that's a good tip, good thing to do this time of year.
One year I mowed some down with a lawnmower and cut it too short, and it took about 2 years for it to come back.
Yeah, the new growth may be starting to. I was cutting back some of my ornamental grasses. You know, the miscanthus, the maiden grass. Now I don't grow the big pampas grass, but I grow smaller grasses. I was cutting them back this past weekend, and a lot of the new growth is already coming up. So I didn't cut it down as far as I wanted. I just cut down the worst of the old brown stuff. The new stuff is going to come out perfectly nice and clean. Great tip, Jim.
All right, in this case, I'll just give it a trim then. Thanks, Felder.
It's so funny, Dean, because I don't even cut my hair, but I cut my grasses and stuff. Oh, well.
Well, it's cheaper to cut your grass than to get a haircut.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Last time I got a haircut, I paid $2.50 for it. It was so short I could comb it with a washcloth. $2.50. How long has it been since you get a haircut for $2.50?
Well, the last time was when I was entering the Army.
Oh yeah, and they did it for nothing. Anyway, I appreciate you calling, Jim. Thank you so much, man.
See you, Felder.
Okay, bye-bye. Who else we got, Java?
Yeah, let's go to Mike in Hattiesburg.
Okay, Mike, what's going on down there? What's up?
All right. First, I'm a big fan and also of Java's program. I bought an old house.
Wait. Everywhere I go, I keep it. See, I don't listen to radio. I don't listen to it at all. But everywhere I go, I keep hearing Java. This thing you're doing, the mix, or what's it called?
The blend.
The blend.
Yeah.
All sorts of music, and you put that together yourself all the time.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're the man. Anyway, sorry about that. What's up in Hattiesburg?
Anyway, it's my turn?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Well, you need to listen to Java's program. He's got a deep knowledge of music and damn near impeccable taste. Although he does not publish his playlists, and that's another issue.
Listen, we told about that. Let's get back to gardening because I'm with you on that.
Let's do. I bought an old house, a wonderful old house, and the fellow that had it, who built it, obviously loved camellias. I've counted at least 15 different kinds of blooms on my lot. I don't know how to take care of them, and they're old and they're scraggly and the root stalks coming out from the bottom. And I just need a general, what do you do with camellias?
Well, with camellias, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. If there's one thing that you ought to do is cut out any dead wood, because our plants are always losing branches because of bad weather. So if there's any dead stuff or stuff that just looks bad, you really ought to cut that out. But other than that, you can either cut some of the lower stuff off and thin it out so it grows up in the small evergreen trees, or sometime this spring, just cut them back as far as you want. They'll spread out new growth and bloom on that new growth this fall. So you can either prune them down it like you would a hedge or something, or else limb them up into small trees. But main thing is get rid of the dead stuff.
Okay. Okay. All right.
A little bit of fertilizer helps too.
Yeah. Okay. Better than I thought. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Find something else to do. A little bit of fertilizer. I appreciate
I'm retired. I got a world of stuff to do.
I understand. I understand.
Y'all take care.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your call. So John, you don't publish playlists because you just don't have time. You have so much you go. This is not your only job up at MPB.
Yeah, but we're working on the playlist, and several people have asked, and we're gonna figure out a mechanism to get the playlist listed. But we didn't come here for the blend because that's Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11. But today it's all about the Gestalt Gardener. And next up on the line, we got Mark from Oxford.
Good morning, Mark. How's your garden looking?
I'm wanting to do more than it should with it being a little cool outside. But I was calling about, I had a couple of things. One thing, during the ice storm, I was cutting big branches off some of these big old trees that were falling down, and I was just enamored at the beauty. And I thought, I got to tell Felder at some point about all these lichens, because they were frozen, and it's like a whole other environment up in the sky, up in the trees on these big old trees, just beautiful different lichens, all kind of different shapes and colors and stuff, and they were all frozen. It was really neat. But with all the tree damage, I lost the tops out of several about 15-year-old sweet bay magnolias and some cedar trees.
Yeah.
What do I mean, they're still going to grow. They're just going to look funny the rest of their life.
And from a philosophical point of view, everybody up there got damaged. So if you don't do anything, nobody they won't criticize you. Everybody will understand if you don't do anything. And the trees will pretty well do all right. I've been through a lot of ice storms. I'm from the Delta. I've been through around tornadoes and hurricanes, and the trees can come back on their own. They'll be characterful. They won't be pretty and symmetrical, but they'll do okay. If you could cut out some of the dead stuff, that'd be okay. But other than that, a little bit of fertilizer, matter of fact, just put some lawn fertilizer all out over the whole area, because their roots go everywhere. That'll do about as much as anything. And there's not any way you can shape up an old cedar other than just cutting out the dead stuff. But even if you don't, I think it's kind of characterful. So one thing I would encourage you to do if you're pulling a lot of stuff is use those limbs that you're pulling to maybe create a path. You could just lay them on one side or the other, make a little path through your landscape with limbs on either side. This is really, really popular in places like England where they don't normally haul stuff off. So you don't have to haul it all off is what I'm saying. But you don't have to do anything other than neaten up as much as you personally need to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got one more question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I got some planters I put out out by the street. They're up on elevated posts. And I was just thinking, they're not irrigated. They're going to get plenty of sun. They're going to get blasted by the heat. What would be some good stuff to put out there? I was thinking some rosemary, but that's all I had in my mind.
I don't know if you're aware, but I grow stuff in a box in the back of a pickup truck up against a cab. And over the years, I found, and I don't water, this is just a box of potting soil up against a cab. It's as wide as a truck and about 3 feet deep. And I grow rosemary does fine. Oregano does really, really well. Doesn't need a lot of water. It kind of cascades over. And you could put in a little dwarf nandina if you want to. Some of these hardy succulents, just mix stuff up, and then throw in some seasonal annuals for the summertime. That would be things like periwinkle, which is from Madagascar. It just thrives on droughts. So there's some good old-fashioned stuff that does really well without a bunch of care. That'll take the heat and the drought. Like I said, I've been growing something back in my pickup, irises. Even if irises don't bloom, the leaves look interesting. But I'm really fond of these hardy succulents and cacti that add to rosemary and oregano. I'd start with those. And maybe a little dwarf nandina just for something pretty.
Good deal. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. And really sorry about all the problems up there. I helped teach the arboriculture, the tree surgery course at Mississippi State. And of course, it'd be good if you could do some really nice pruning and stuff like that. But I was also raised as a practical person. If you don't do anything, your plants will do okay. They really will.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you calling in, Mark.
Yeah, I've got a picture I want to show real quick. If we could get who's a live stream producer today? I know John C. is back there.
Yeah, we got John C. We got Abram, Kevin Farrell is on the phones.
Well, if they could throw up photo number 4, picture number 4. This is what I've got 2 nice sized water gardens, and this past week I emptied them. And I got them down at the bottom, and this is the kind of gunk and leaves and mud and stuff that just comes. It just happens in a water garden. So I got it all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to scoop it all out, clean it out, start out some fresh new water. This is a good time of year to do that before other stuff takes up our time. Cleaning out a water garden really does make you feel better, and it looks a whole lot better too. So we got any more calls or what?
Yeah, we're coming up almost. You've been rocking and rolling, Felder. We're almost at the 9:30 mark. But before we do our cheesy tune for this hour, let's talk with Catherine in Mobile.
Morning, Catherine. How are you?
I'm good. I have a question, and thank you for being online. I love listening to you. I love listening when you're in England.
Well, thank you.
But I
happen to be in England right now, but I'll be back next week.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm jealous. My husband is an Episcopal priest, and we spent 5 weeks in Cambridge, and then another month and a half in the Cotswolds and Lake District. We loved it. Well, I want to go back.
Be sure to stay tuned for the first part of the next hour. I'm interviewing one of my great friends from up here with some funny stories. So stick with. But anyway, what you got going on? What's up?
Okay, I will. Well, my question is, I have an old Meyer lemon, dwarf Meyer lemon, and it took a hit this last 2 years, and it peeled at the bottom, and it's weeping, and it's black, and where the main other branches are, it's black. But I really don't want to cut it down, so I trimmed it out to give it more light. And pretty severely, but it's putting out. Should I just wait and see if it holds on? And I'm thinking about whitewashing the bottom of the tree to keep it, maybe it would keep it.
That would help. Whitewashing does help for some insects, but also they can get root diseases that show up as gumming on the stem. So I couldn't diagnose that without seeing some good pictures of it. But
it's only on the main trunk and 2 big limbs down, about halfway up. The rest of it looks okay.
Well, you can just prune some of that old stuff off. It's okay to pluck eyebrows. I mean to cut limbs off of trees. You don't have to keep it symmetrical. So if something's really not doing good, just cut it off. And that helps a lot. But other than that, I would just wait. Little fertilizer, wait and see.
Well, that's what I fertilize. Now, my problem is if I cut where it's bad, it'll just be a stump.
Oh well, without seeing the pictures, I can't even guess. So are you by any chance on the Mississippi Gardening Facebook group?
I've sent you pictures before. I can send you some pictures of it.
Okay. Let's do a good, clear, close-up picture, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much.
All right, appreciate it. And Java, when we go on the break, let's see if we can get them to put up picture number 6. And this is a real surprise because my cheesy tune is by a group called V12. V12. It's a real high energy band, and it's a tune called This Snail is Fast. And I just want to show a picture of this, Java. This is the native snail to Mississippi. It's called the rosy wolf snail. It's native. A lot of people find it in the snail shell big as my thumb. It's a pretty, but this is the fastest snail in the South. I'm not making this up. And guess what it does for a living?
What does it do?
It eats other snails This is a snail-eating snail.
Well, I mean, it's the fastest. It can catch them.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the joke about the turtle that said he got assaulted by some snails, and the judge says, "Well, can you describe them?" And the turtle says, "No, it just happened too fast." Anyway, we're going to come back with more of Gestalt Gardener. That snail is fast. This one is for you, Java.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hip-hop thing called That Snail is Fast. And Java, you said it's from a Disney movie or something?
Yeah, it's from a Disney movie, Turbo is what's the name of the movie, and we've watched it at home, so I already was familiar.
It just kills me because every now and then I come up with something I think Java's going to like this, and then you watch it with your kids know this stuff. Anyway, welcome back. We're going to be talking about gardening for the next hour and a half. Got a really fun interview coming up the first part of next hour. Really, really fun. It's some surprising stuff. But let's go to Shreveport and talk with Steve. Steve, thank you for holding. How you doing?
I think I told you wrong, Felder. Not Shreveport. He's in Goshen. There you go.
Oh, Steve from Goshen.
Currently, I'm sitting at number 5 at McDonald's in the slot. Hey, let me ask you something. I like the cheesy music best. You don't play cheesy music anymore, huh?
Oh no, yeah. Well, we come with some cheesy stuff. Anyway, what you got going on?
Anyway, first one thing, co-pilot. How many names does he have?
What you mean names?
I hear you. I call you a different name when we play music or helping poor old Felder and all this. Anyway, let me get back to my question.
All right, there we go.
Majestic Palms.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? Where you buy them, they got 2 in there. Can you cut the thing in half and put them in separate pots and survive if you take care of them?
Yeah, yes, you can. They're separate. As long as you get some roots with both of them, they're separate plants. You can divide them. Sure can. I'd water them really good first, so it's easier to pull them apart and then take it from there.
Yeah, it's hard to hear. You sound like in a barrel. Okay, I can't. As long as I take care of them, get the roots, I could divide them and whatever. Okay, that sounds like the winner, guys.
Yes. Okay.
All right, appreciate you, Steve. Hopefully you're not in that McDonald's line long.
Yeah, I don't know why we sound kind of. I mean, you sound okay, John. Did I sound okay?
Yeah, I think he was. You know, he's doing a lot. He's trying to. He's got his mind focused on the McMuffin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, got any calls or what?
No, not right now. Kevin's he's twiddling thumbs right now.
Well, let me encourage folks to call. This is it's a free call, no matter where you're from. It's toll free, and I'd love to chat with folks about stuff. I won't make anything up. Either I know it or I don't, and I will add some philosophy, I guess. But I am a horticulturist. I'm trained in horticulture, retired horticulturist with the Extension Service. I can get in detail as you want to. But let me show a couple of things real quick. This is last Sunday in my garden, I noticed the first tete-a-tete or tete-a-tete daffodils in picture number 7. If we could get John C. to put up photo number 7. This is a little daffodil that has 2 flowers. It's a little small thing. It's only 6-8 inches tall, but tete-a-tete is one of the earliest really good daffodils. If I had to start anybody with just one daffodil, it would be the one. It's Teteatete. Tete-a-tete is very easy to grow, and not only that, but every bulb you plant next year will be 2 or 3 bulbs, and then 3 or 4 bulbs. So it spreads them, and it's low growing. And when the flowers fade, the leaves don't flop over. It still looks pretty nice. But the reason I want to show that because photo number 8, Java. I've never shown this picture anywhere. But this is a picture I took 4 or 5 years ago in my great grandmother's garden up in the Delta. And these are she grew over 300 different kinds of daffodils in rows. I helped her with them when I was a kid.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And they come up, they bloom like crazy. And then when it was time to mow the grass, she just mowed them down and they bloomed every year. But photo number 9, this is an example of just some of them that survived. These are planted in the 1930s. And I put some in my garden. And these are just some of the daffodils that will bloom year after year for decades with zero care in the South. Reason I'm showing that, Java, is there's a lot of daffodils that will not grow here. They'll bloom once or maybe twice, and then they just peter out. They'd rather be further north. So only a few, maybe 3 or 4 dozen will do well in the South. And I have a list of those that I'd be glad to send anybody if they email me. The best daffodils for naturalizing, coming back every year. But I wanted to show the one daffodil that it just pains me that I cannot grow. It's picture number 10. This is one that's called Poeticus. To me, it's just clean. It's got those big, almost angelic white petals. It's got a little small orange cup surrounded by a little crimson rim, and those little pollen anthers in there just loaded with pollen. This is one of my all-time favorite daffodils, and it won't grow in Mississippi. So I just want to let folks know that if you have trouble growing them all, I do too. But if you want to grow the kind like my great-grandmother did that are still here, we can hit. Let's stick with what we know does well. There are even some daffodils that bloom well on the Gulf Coast. Most daffodils will not come back year after year there. But anyway, I've been looking for decades for the kind of plants that do well in Mississippi. That's what I'm known for. So if you want to know the best daffodils or the easiest roses, those kind of things, shoot me an email. I'll be glad to help you with that. So anyway, I just want to throw that out, Java. It's just not a lot of people talk about the fact that only some daffodils will do here, and they don't know why. There it is. Some of them need a longer, colder winter. Some need a longer, cooler spring to set the flower buzz. But here's the deal, though. If you like daffodils and you see some around an old home site, I wrote about this in this week's newspaper. I write for the weekly and daily papers all over the state. Mississippi Press Association sends my column for free to all the newspapers in the state. If your paper doesn't carry it, they can if you ask them. But anyway, this week was about if you see daffodils that you really like, you just got to have, if you can help it, don't dig them yet. because if you dig them while they're in bloom, they'll survive, but they may skip a year. They'll probably skip a year, maybe two, before they bloom again. And this is a little deep dive here. Daffodils make their new bulbs, and their flower buds for next year after they finish flowering. So if you dig them while they're in flowering, that disrupts their roots. If you cut them down too early and cut their leaves off too early, there goes next year's flower. So if you see some that you like, do two things: mark where they are, see where, look around, triangulate it wherever you want to. Maybe put a little rock or something right by it, so that you'll be able to find them later. And then cut some flowers for a vase. That satisfies that instant gratification. Cut a few flowers, have a little vase, and that way, if somebody's driving by and they think you're stealing bulbs, just hold up the flower and wave at them. They think, oh, they're just cutting a bouquet. That's okay. But if you cut the flowers for instant gratification and mark where the bulbs are, come back in a couple of months, dig them then, they will not even skip a beat. But if you dig them from an old home site or something, always put one or two bulbs back in that hole. That's just a polite thing to do. So anyway, I just throw that out. That's how you steal daffodils. You get some flowers and you go back later when nobody knows what you're up to. Excuse me, liberate bulbs.
I was just about to get there. Not steal, but liberate.
That's right. So no calls yet?
Yeah, we got some lined up. And matter of fact, let's go to Hattiesburg and let's talk with Brenda.
Hey, Brenda. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I have a maple tree that's very large, and I have a question about maple trees and a question about I want to grow bridal wreath. And I was going to say my daffodils showed up this week.
Good.
And some of my azaleas.
Yeah. Well, it's time. But what about your maple, though?
Well, is there anything special we need to do for it? It is someone, I believe, an expert said it was the largest one he had seen in the area. And I just wondered if there's anything special. Also, a friend had suggested that if I was tripping on all the roots as I am, that I put dirt over it, but I don't want to do anything that would harm it.
Yeah. First of all, this is not a Japanese maple. This is one of our native maples.
Right. This is I believe it's a silver maple.
Okay. The only thing, do you have grass anywhere near it, even out from the branches?
I have monkey grass kind of encircling it. And
I'm talking about out, way out from it, under the outer spread of the branches. Is there grass out there?
The grass has disappeared. I've got to resod or seed it, like you were talking about how to. There's not very much grass right now.
I guess what I'm getting at is they need a little fertilizer every 3 or 4 years. A lot of people never fertilize trees and they do okay, but to help it, if you'll scatter some fertilizer under the outer spread, way out, the roots are everywhere. They're not up close to the trunk. If you'll put out even some lawn fertilizer, even if you don't have any grass, put a little lawn fertilizer out there every 3 or 4 years, not much, and that'll recycle through the leaves for years. I would not cover the roots up with dirt. They're shallow for a reason. Either the dirt is washed away, which it'll keep doing, or your soil is heavy and the roots can't grow deep, so they're right on the top. So if you'll just cover it with some shredded mulch and maple leaves, and that's all I would do. And by the way, as far as bridal wreath, it's spirea. They grow in cemeteries. Just dig a wide hole, shove it in there, and water it a time or two, and it'll grow.
Okay. Okay, good. So even I can grow.
Sure. That's right. So anyway, good luck on that. And if it's, it's good. Along the roadside right now, we're seeing their native reds, what they call swamp red maples. They're covered with little seed-looking things right now. They're just red as they can be. So anyway, a little fertilizer every 3 or 4 years.
Okay, thank you so much. I love your show.
Well, thanks for being part of it. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Brenda. Appreciate you calling. Felder, we got a couple other calls, but I don't want to neglect our YouTube, because if you go to youtube.com and type in the Gestalt Gardener or Mississippi Public Broadcasting, you'll see we're broadcasting live. I want to say good morning to Margie and Timothy and Pamela and Rita, who is spending the morning in Olive Branch. And she actually said, Felder, you got to help me out. What's the name of that flower that had the pretty white leaves in the small center that you talked about? You can't grow it. It was a daffodil. You just showed.
Think Poeticus. Poeticus.
Poeticus.
There's some similar ones, but it's one that really does better further north. It's the old poet's narcissus. Anyway, it's just a beautiful one.
And Rita on the live stream says she grows that one, and she was like, she just got lucky.
Yeah, well, if she's in North Mississippi, that helps. But if not, she's got one that does well in Central Mississippi. I want some of it.
Well, let's go back to the phones and let's talk with Chelsea, who is on the road.
Morning, Chelsea. Hands on the wheel. What's up?
Hey there. I have a question for you. I am interested in installing some David Austin roses or any hybrid tea rose, really. I just think they're really pretty and popular over there where you are in England. And I was wondering, a couple of friends have told me that, who work kind of in landscape, have told me that they can be, well, the words my friend used were a chemical nightmare, and that you just have to be very vigilant about, I guess, fungicide and all the things. And I prefer not to use chemicals if I can help it. But so I just wondered about your opinion of those.
Well, first of all, a lot of the modern roses were bred for pretty flowers and pretty buds, and they're weak plants. They are highly susceptible to diseases, for insects, thrips, black spot. There's a lot of the modern roses. David Austin roses, I'm pretty familiar with them. My partner of 16 years was head of marketing. We live next door. Okay, David Austin roses were not bred for Mississippi. Hot, humid, rainy, and hot, dry. There are some that do okay. A lot of people in Mississippi grow David Austin roses. Most of them are not going to be as pretty as they are in the catalog, and they do need a little fussing. But now, let me mention this though. I've been growing with some help from friends and volunteers, growing some old roses that bloom nonstop in a cemetery in Jackson. No hose. Maybe get fertilized every 3 or 4 years. Maybe get pruned a little bit every couple of years. But no sprays at all. And I've got a list of those. And so, many of them are just beautiful roses. They're just not they're not the popular new ones that people want to buy. But if you want a list of those, if you'll email me, it's roses that grow in Mississippi. And there's some really, really dependable ones that even the people who like to grow roses and like to spray, they grow them on the other side of the house without any fuss at all. We do have some good roses, but most of them you buy are going to require sprays. They're going to require spraying. And if you don't want to do that, send for my list. And they're good roses.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for the information, and I'll shoot you over an email.
Okay, and if you get a chance sometime in April or May, even early June, up in Jackson, there's a cemetery 1 block north of the old Capitol. I mean, the state capitol, 1 block north. It's called Greenwood Cemetery in the early 1800s. The roses will be in full bloom in late April, May, early June. And even if you go back in July, August, September, October, there's some still blooming without any disease problems.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that. I sure appreciate it. I'm actually on my way to Madison, Mississippi right now.
Well, they're not going to be blooming right now. The daffodils are starting to bloom up there. Roses still a month or two away.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I'll check it out next time I'm up here. Thank you so much.
How about that, Java?
Yeah, that's all right. And I believe Chelsea when she says she'll check them out when she come back.
and let me interject something here, Java. Because this program is now 2 hours long, we can chat with people.
And we got a lot of people to chat with. The phone lines are full. Let's go to Kelly in Oxford.
Kelly, good morning. How's your garden looking?
Well, it's a little rough, but good morning to y'all. Because the ice storm kind of
took it all out. So that's actually what I'm calling about. They finally came through our street today and yesterday to pick up all the debris. So now we can see. And my neighbor and I lost an entire line of cedar trees between our properties, and there were, I call them red tips. I really don't know what they are. They were there 3 owners ago.
Red tip will do. Yeah, red tip.
And they're really tall and leggy because they're actually on my neighbor's property. And so about half of those came down. So we now have it's probably 50 yards between our houses that is just between our yards that is really going to get a lot of sun morning and afternoon because it runs north to south. And we are trying to think of something native, but that will provide some pretty color and a little bit of shade at some point. So do you have some ideas of something that we could
I do, but it's too long a list of ideas to share right now. But if you'll send me an email, we could get it. You go to my blog, felderrushing.blog, and it has a little thing that email me. We can get into more detail, but keep in mind that those red tips and other things if you just cut them down, their roots are intact, and they would put up new growth that will just jump because the roots are still strong. So you can prune them way, way back, and they'll actually fill in quicker than anything new you can plant out there. I would recommend a combination of plants rather than all of one thing. I would not plant Leyland cypresses. They're real popular, real fast, but we do have trouble with those. But a combination of things. Some would be native, some are non-native, but they're not invasive type plants. So it's just too many to mention right now. So let me say this: cut the red tips back and leave them. I bet they sprout out. The cedars, who knows? But when you do plant stuff, keep in mind a smaller plant will outgrow a bigger plant of the same species every time. If you dig a wide hole and loosen the roots when you plant it, a smaller, less expensive plant will outgrow a bigger one. So don't feel like you have to have instant result. They will actually grow better and quicker than a big one.
Wonderful. That's great. I didn't know we could cut back those red tips, so we will do that. And then I do have a second question, if I can.
Sure.
We can now, because of all the trees that came down behind our house and another house, we can see a road that none of us have ever been able to see before. And we really all would like, the neighbors would all like to be able to kind of camouflage our neighborhood again. Are there some, it was, back there were a lot of oaks, there were some maples,
all sorts of stuff,
trees, all sorts of stuff. The magnolias did fine in the ice. So the magnolias are still back there, but they're younger. Is there something else that you can think of that, I mean, it is a wooded area. The deer pass through there between the park and our neighborhood all the time.
Yeah, there's nothing that's going to be deer proof. Again, I would go with a mixture of stuff. There's no problem planting cedars again. This was maybe a one-off storm, but cedars, a mixture of things. And again, actually have a list of good, dependable plants, trees, large shrubs, small shrubs, and I'll be glad to email it if you'll email me. But again, keep in mind, wide holes, loosen the roots. Those are both important. And then one other thing, do you know what a baffle is? Have you heard of a baffle?
No.
Okay, if you were to shade your eyes from the sun, you hold your hand up and you move it to where it shades your eyes from the sun. Sun is huge, but your hand put in just the right spot can completely block out the sun. Well, that's a baffle. You can have not a fence and not a billboard, but somewhere in between, a section of fence that starts above the ground and goes up. So if y'all get out there and move your hands around and see exactly what you want to screen, you could put posts and lattice with vines on it and other things, sections here and there, repeat them, scatter them, however you want to, but very inexpensive, instant privacy, couple of posts, couple of 2x4s and lattice or anything else in between them. Again, move it up and down like a little billboard until it exactly hides just the road, and then plant stuff around those. That works real fast, and it can actually be kind of thematic for your neighborhood. Put birdhouses on top of the post, whatever. But baffles are real fast, instant gratification. You can grow vines on them for the first year while your other stuff fills in.
That's great. Okay, yeah, we were spoiled because this is an old neighborhood with old growth and lots of room in between. So
yeah.
I think we just were always spoiled and thought it would be fine, but I hadn't even thought about doing something like the baffle. That's wonderful. Thank you. And I will email you for the other list.
Where there are great gardens, there are great heartaches. And we all feel for all of y'all in North Mississippi. Anyway, email me, okay?
I will. Thank y'all so much.
Ooh, Java.
We thank you. We thank you, Kelly. Felder, we got 2 calls. Let's try to do it. Cindy in Cordova. We're coming up at the end of this hour number 1. Well, let's go to Cindy in Cordova.
Cindy, we're short out of time. What's going on in West Tennessee?
Well, still trying to do some yard cleanup. Just a quick question. I have a lot of the thin-bladed mondo grass, not the dwarf, but just the regular.
Right.
And it's pretty burned. Can you cut that back just like regular monkey grass?
Yeah, yes, you can. If it is a type of monkey grass or liriope or Ophiopogon, if it's what we call monkey grass, yes. I do it soon though, so you don't nip the new growth that's just starting to push up.
Okay. All right. It's just really burned and it looks terrible. So I've never cut it back before like I have my regular, but
just don't cut it all the way. Just cut it back. Just get rid of the worst of the old stuff and let the new stuff come up. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Now what, Java?
Well, yeah, I'm glad Cindy. I really am glad Cindy had a quick question. We're gonna ask O'Neill, who's on the Gulf Coast, to hold on to the next hour. Just stick around, catch some NPR headlines in the break, and he'll be our first call, or he or she will be our first call at the top of the second hour.
Okay. I also have an interview coming up real soon. In between these 2 hours, I'm gonna bring this fella in. We're gonna get set up, make sure the camera works because he's an exuberant fella.
Well, yeah, we want to capture everything, and don't forget the YouTube is open if you want to hop into the YouTube chat. I even got a question in there about kiwis. We'll get to that in the next hour. So the youtube.com/ well, it's not a slash, but YouTube, just type in Gestalt Gardener or Mississippi Public Broadcasting in the search bar.
Yeah. Ooh, I had more stuff to talk about, but we're not here for me, Java. We're here for other folks. So we're glad we're getting a bunch of calls. And the stuff I've got to talk about can wait a little bit. But we are going to take a little break for some news. I don't know how much time we got. We got a minute or so.
Yeah, we got about 30 seconds. You're good.
Okay, well, I would like to mention that there are 2 trees blooming along the roadside right now, the wild pears and the native wild plums. Wild plums are small, and grows in groups, and the wild pears look like small trees, but both of those are blooming right now. In case you're wondering what that white stuff blooming along the road, it's either wild pears or it's wild plums, which are smaller and in little colonies. Me and Java and all the folks at MPB will be back with more of the Gestalt Gardener and some fun stuff right after this. Stick with us.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, Java Chapman, and all the folks in MPB. We welcome you to hour 2 of the Gestalt Gardener. I got some fun stuff lined up. But before we get to that, we got a guy from the Gulf Coast named O'Neill who's been holding on a while. Morning, O'Neill. What's up, man? Where are you?
Yo, fellas. Actually, I'm in Ocean Springs.
Yep.
And my question, two of them. One, I think I was listening to this show, but for some reason I think there's such a thing as a cypress tree that does not put up knees.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like the regular. It's a native plant too. It looks like the regular ball cypress, not quite as thick, on the leaves. You know how the leaves on a regular cypress tree sort of look ferny? These hang down a little bit, but it's called pond cypress, P-O-N-D cypress. It's native also, and it grows just like the ball cypress, but it doesn't make the knees.
Right on. Thanks. And last spring I put in something called coral porterweed. It has these long arms that put out little red flowers. It's really pretty.
Tiny little flowers. Little flower. Big butterflies hang on little flowers.
It was funny, but yes. Do they grow back? Do I just wait and see?
Yes, in the tropics they can, but they'll freeze like a pepper plant. You can have a pepper plant for 10 years if you can keep it from dying. But porterweed, I wish it had a better name than that. But porterweed is an annual. You can save them over the winter as cuttings rooted in the window, or just make sure you local. I don't know if there's a local garden center near Ocean Springs, but anyway, they can get it from their suppliers. But you have to save it over the winter. Even if you cut it back and put it in a pot and keep it from freezing.
Yeah. Now I bought these at the Mobile Arboretum.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's the thing. They're great plants. They root very easily if you want to keep one over the winter. Or dig them up, put them in a pot. Just protect them. Just bring them in if it's going to freeze. and then they'll make it
no, I
that
think
way.
they froze over the winter. Then that's because I keep waiting and there's nothing happening and nothing happening. And
Yeah, right.
I scratch it and it looks brown all the way through.
It's a weird plant. I mean, it's scraggly. It makes my hair look good. I mean, it's got these long things, and the little flowers are so small, but you get the biggest butterflies hanging off of those.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It's really Dr. Seuss-like. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I'm glad to hear somebody else say Seuss-esque. Anyway, we appreciate your call about that, O'Neill. Thank you, man.
All right. Well, thanks for the fine cypress thing too. Bye.
You bet. Okay, so John, before we go to our guests, we got another caller.
Yeah, we're going from the bottom to the top. Let's go to South Haven and talk with Rebecca.
Okay, Rebecca, you're about as far north as you can get in Mississippi. What you got going on?
I live 1 mile from Memphis. My house is 1 mile from Memphis, so I can just go up there whenever I want to. Now, I've got one. You don't think I stayed up trying to...
There's got to be a song called 1 Mile from Memphis. Got to be a blues song called 1 Mile from Memphis.
Now, I've got a question. You're going to think I stayed up nights trying to come up with something you didn't know about. But hydroponic gardening, now we saw this back at the World's Fair back before 1985. It's not new, but I'm just wondering, do you have any tips on starting it? It doesn't take up much space is the thing that's interesting to me.
That's right. Hydroponics, growing stuff basically in aerated water. It's just like an aquarium. You can't just put a goldfish in an aquarium and walk away. You got to change the water. You got to bubbles and stuff like that. So all hydroponic gardening is have like an aquarium with an air bubbler in it and growing plants in that. But it's a different setup. But that's the same thing. The fertilizer is you get special fertilizer that's dissolved in water. And there's all sorts of how-to on it. But there's so many different setups for it. But if you got a small space, I would recommend going online and seeing. Are you a member of Mississippi Gardening Facebook?
Yes, and I asked about it on there, and crickets. Nobody had done it at all, and I said, okay, I'm gonna call in.
Okay. Well, ask again because I know there's some people on there who do hydroponics. To ask on again, and I'll make a big note about it. But there's a lot of different setups. They're all of the variation on the same basic thing, and it's possible.
Okay.
How practical is it? I don't know, but growing a goldfish in a bowl is not practical, but we still do it.
Right. Well, I was at a friend's house, and they're new friends. I'd never seen this, but they had something inside their house, and this is not the way I want to do it. It was as big as a water heater, and it had all these little places for flower pots and lights you could turn on, and they said something about they paid $1,200 for it. I'm like, that's not the idea of gardening. I mean, they said it's gorgeous, made all kind of basil and tomatoes.
If you live in a space station, I guess it's practical, but why not just grow stuff outside in the sun?
Right. But anyway, it's just seemed like something to try,
Yeah, it is, but I would start small. I would not start off with a $1,200 system. Start off small, and then you can double, triple that. So, but there's a lot of different kits out there. But we want to start you off with something that's easy and not too expensive. And that way, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, oh well. Get your goldfish and put in it.
Right. Won't be out $1,200, but
do a thing on the Mississippi Garden.
Sure. Right, but like I said, it's not new. It's something they've known about it since the 80s, and I'm like, well, it's bound to be somebody with some experience in it.
Anybody who's ever rooted a coleus in a mason jar in the window is hydroponic gardener.
Right.
So let's take it from there. Do the Mississippi gardening thing, and we'll see what we can come up with.
All right, thank you.
Bye. All righty, appreciate it. So Java.
Yes, sir.
Can I bring my guest in just a second?
Yeah. I'm ready for the pub talk.
Okay. I want to set it up with you. I do this thing called pub talk. What do you guys actually talk about besides sports and stuff, which we don't talk about politics and all? How to make salmon croquet. Guys talking about making salmon croquets. Last week, the art gals, you met the art gals from my pub in Mississippi.
I did.
We were talking about daffodils that were blooming. And one of them said, I know where some are that blooming. And I said, I know where that is too. And nobody lives there. And the other says, I have a shovel. I'm thinking, okay, it's at night. Me and a couple of gals going to drive around. We've been drinking. We're not going to do that and dig up stealing bulbs. Now, that is a way to miss work the next day. You got thrown in jail because you're driving around stealing bulbs with a couple of gals from the pub. Anyway, I got something a little bit different this week. You remember a couple of weeks ago, Java, I mentioned that you and we were discussing colorful snail excrement. Remember that?
I remember, unfortunately.
Okay, let's get to put up photo 11 because I want to set this up. Because I just want to let you know I'm not making this stuff up. Tell me when that picture number 11 is up.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay, this is just a little row of pubs and all. And matter of fact, they have Vespas.
Are those Vespas? Yeah.
Yeah, they have a whole little Vespa club. I mean, it's like a clown parade. The Vespas come to town. But I just want to let you know, this is where my pub is in England. But anyway, it sounded a little bit over the top. Well, I have with us today none other than my good friend Sean Singleton, known international as Morris Minor Sean, to corroborate the story. Come on in, Sean, and get in real close. Get in real close. Don't be scared. This is my good friend Sean.
Hi, folks.
Java.
What's up, Sean? How you doing, man?
I'm fine, thank you.
I tell you how I met this guy. Put up picture number 12 if you can. Picture number 12. This is a guy that came in, and we turned out we both like really dark beers. But this is him standing by his Morris Minor outside of our pub, right?
Yeah, I can see that. That's pretty sweet, man.
He does this kind of stuff. Then put up the last one, photo number 13. This is one that Sean, his daughter, took of him just this morning. Just let you know what is a Morris Minor anyway, Sean?
It's Morris Minor, just a ordinary family car.
It ain't an ordinary family car.
Certainly mine's not.
it's a little thing. You keep it polished and shined up. And
I do, yes. It's one. It was a wreck that I got 20 odd years ago. No, maybe 30 years ago.
How old is it?
It's 68 years old this year.
It's older than you.
It's older than I am, yeah, by several years.
But anyway, Java, I wanted to bring him in because one of the things he was the one who told me about the snail poop. And tell Java that I wasn't making that up.
No, I wasn't making it up, Java. Basically, I kept wondering where all these little coloured trails was coming from in our what we call a wheelie bin, and then I realised
trash can.
It was the snails.
So, but you actually stepped on one, didn't you?
Oh yes, I always apologise. Yes.
So Java, just want to let you know I wasn't making up about the colourful snail poop. Okay.
Well, I didn't think you were. It's just hard to picture. It's hard to picture.
Well, the latest thing that he's got to share with you, and this is just too good to pass up. Before we get to that, tell us about how you pranked a friend with a disease that we normally associate with trees.
Ah, right. You've
keep it clean.
Yes. You've heard of measles, mumps, and so on and so forth. Now, in older life, one of those diseases can turn into what we call shingles, which is a nervous rash that you get.
Yeah.
Now, one of our apprentices, we convinced him that.
And you're an engineer by trade.
I'm an engineer by trade, yes. And one of the other engineers in the drawing office that work with me, we seem to have a telepathy when it comes to winding people up, shushing people. So this particular day, Stuart came in and his son had had German measles and mumps, one of the two. As everybody had that, we hadn't. So accordingly, a couple of the lads ended up off work ill. Now Scott was a little bit older, so Stuart said it could be a little bit nasty that, and one of us said, yeah, it can turn to Dutch elm.
Well, it could turn into Dutch elm.
Yeah.
And
Simon believed this. So we didn't think any more about it until one of the lads from the shop floor on the machine shop phoned and said, what's all this about Scott having Dutch elm?
No. Well, listen, one of the funniest tales I've ever heard in a pub, and only you can properly share this, but you had sent me an email you'd gotten from a friend of yours, and basically said, just been sorting out the garage, and I found my 9-year-old banana covered in mold. somebody got news coverage for having a banana a few months old, but mine was 3 years old. I got 0 credit. Anyway, he said I grew this banana in the sheet metal shop. He's been to Norway, seen cool bands. He's nurtured it, but he neglected. He said now its licorice smell and rubber exteriors has vanquished. I've had to separate it from my life. It's now in the bin. 9 long happy years. I'm sorry he let his banana 9 years with a banana.
9 years with a banana, yeah.
He should have threw it in. He should have threw it in the compost.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
And by the way, if they want to show up, I'll put up a picture of it. I have a picture of it. Picture number. I don't even know what picture number it is. Here we go. Picture number 14. This is an actual picture of the banana.
Now that is unreal.
Okay. Briefly, tell us a story, Sean.
Well, basically, Daddy's one of life's more eccentric characters. He's a really good guy to have around while we're under stress. Always cheers us up, always something to laugh about. For some reason, he had a banana that he, for some reason, didn't eat. He kept it just to see what would happen. It just withered over the years and then became this
thing,
rubbery, licorice-smelling banana skin that he took literally everywhere with him. So, as Felder said, it's been to Norway. It's probably been to Germany on some of the jobs that were drawn up and sent to Germany. Quite possibly America. I don't know whether Danny did work there or not. Certainly France. Yeah. So I last saw it maybe about 3 years ago when it was still reasonably black and rubbery.
The Java. The reason I wanted to get Sean, first of all, Sean's one of my best friends ever. But I just want to let you know it's not just me. You met the art girls from my public, but just want to let you know I'm not making this stuff. A banana that's 9 years old. If I just told you that, Java, you wouldn't believe me.
That's what I'm saying. I know this world is expansive, and Sean is proof of it.
and it's also, this is good for me, Java, because it's proof that it's not just me.
No, it's not just me. I'm included. I haven't got the grays, the official grays yet.
Well, I think I speak for me and Sean both. You have to have white hair growing over your ears to really get a little eccentric here.
Now we did have a Morris. Am I saying a Morris Minor? Is that the car?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a Morris Minor fan in the chat. And they said, I learned to drive a 1959 Morris Minor in Indiana.
Brilliant. 1958. So we're in similar models.
There you go. Shout out to Mike on the YouTube chat.
Hello, Mike.
Yeah. Well, the main time was the banana and the snail poop and the Dutch elm. But anyway, we're gonna need to take a break, but I chose a specific cheesy tune. Is it too early for that, Java?
No, we're right for a cheesy tune break.
Okay, well, I just want to say, it's just this is part of my life, and not just gardening. But okay, Sean, we need to take a break. I appreciate you cooperating my pub talks.
No problem.
We have a couple of Thai hot chicken Thai pies for you to take home.
Oh, wonderful.
For you and Karen, your uber patient wife. And I'll see you and Karen a little while for some, as you call it, chin wagging in the pub.
Oh,
first pint's on me.
Excellent. Thank you, Felder.
This is the Donovan song called Mellow Yellow.
With it.
We'll be back with more of the Gestalt Gardener right after this. And your phone calls, too.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, go on about their business. Who cares of us?
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar is right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Folks, welcome back. That was a little bit of a departure from the norm. Would you say, Java? A little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit, but we always have to break it up sometimes. Felder Rushing is not just a person who lives in the garden and only does gardening things. You know, you talk with you chin wagging with Sean at the pub.
Sean was a big Beatles fan too, but anyway, interesting that he said America has an older Marsh Minor car club than in England, but anyway, when I found out about the 9-year-old banana, I said, we got to share this on the radio.
That is wild, because that banana, it was far gone, man. It was far gone. It was probably petrified.
This is just a little ray of hope for those of us who don't always march to the same drummer. Anyway, I've got plenty of other things to talk about, but we're back to talking about gardening Mississippi. We got any callers?
Yeah, before we go to the callers, I did want to hop onto the YouTube because I said we had this question about kiwi, and this is Sherry. And simple question: can I grow kiwis in North Mississippi?
Oh boy, that's a good question. There is a type of kiwi that I think is native to the colder parts of Asia. I can't remember the name of it, but it's smaller than the kind you buy at the store, and it's very cold hardy. But the regular kiwi, the kind that we want to buy, is fairly tender. I've seen some growing in Botanic Garden over in Birmingham, Alabama. But keep in mind, it takes a long time, and they're separate male and female plants. You have to have some of each, and they're pretty plants, and it's worth giving a try. But there's a reason there is no kiwi production in Mississippi. It's not easy. It's worth a try. It's worth having some fun. But need to check out the cold hardy one. I want to say it's like Siberian or something like that. Maybe somebody you watch on YouTube can help us out. But in general, I can't remember the name of the cold hardy one. But the other one's separate male and female plants, and it got to be put on a trellis. And hope we don't have weird weather like we usually do. So it's a gamble, but it's a fun one.
Okay, so now let's we do have some phone calls, and well, before I do that, I do want to give a special shout out because I don't think we've ever had this person join us. We have Sean the Gardener on the YouTube, and he lets us know that he's watching from Cornwall, England.
You see, if he's watching, I just want to let other folks know the southern part of England makes fun of the northerners, like in the United States, people in New England make fun of us. Okay, but he's what we call a southerner. But that's okay. They're nicer. the part of England I'm in, Lancashire, it's like the Mississippi of England. Everybody's friendly. You say, "Hey, up, what's up?" Cheers.
So if you're in Lancashire and it's the Mississippi, Cornwall is the what?
I would say the Connecticut.
The Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Beautiful, the cute little thatched cottages and nice gardens all like that. But they're just people in the South. They just don't. They make fun of Northerners.
It's a difference. We'll just say it like that. It's a difference.
We welcome you, Sean, to listen to this program.
Yeah, no, appreciate you, Sean, tuning in from way across the pond. But let's go to the phones, and a little closer than Cornwall, England, is Fairhope, Alabama, and let's talk with Ryan.
Beautiful, beautiful little city in its own right. I would say that Cornwall is the Fairhope of England.
Now wait a minute. We ain't got that many Yankees here yet. Give us a break.
No. But I'm talking about the beauty and the atmosphere, the laid backness. Fairhope is a beautiful town.
Okay, yeah, it's beautiful.
What's up?
Yeah, when Sean and y'all are chin wagging over at the pub, just bring up that one of the hill climb champions in England was an actual Morris Minor powered by a Rover V8 turbocharged, and the owner was an engineer. And so I think that's a point of pride for Sean, and that gives you all something to chin wag about Morris Minors at the pub. He probably knows this story.
Okay, I won't remember, but he'll know about it because he's one of you kind of guys. Was that it?
It's a small world. The Morris Minor thing is really interesting. That's quite a cult, and it is worldwide. I mean, it was one of the iconic cars that transported many a plant to many a garden over the years.
Yep, that's right. Anyway, well, we appreciate that, man. Okay, now tell me what it was again. Something about a Rolls-Royce engine.
It was a Morris Minor that had a V8, believe it or not, Rover V8 aluminum motor with a turbocharger in it, and it was actually a hill climb champion. And the owner was a very famous engineer in England. I can't remember his name right now.
Okay, well, I'll report back next week. Anyway, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, Java. This is Think Radio, and we were all over the place now. We got any calls about gardening?
Well, let's see if Cedric from Columbus is going to, or is that Dietrich? Dietrich from Columbus is going to help us out.
Hey, Dietrich, what's up?
Hey, Felder, how you doing, man?
Good.
I got a couple of questions. I often heard you mention when you buy fruit trees, you need to cut them back. I want to buy some fruit trees. I don't know exactly the variety I want, and I want to plant them over in Starville at my mother's house. But I'm thinking about some plums, peach, pear, mulberry, fig, and possibly blueberry. I don't know if blueberry will provide this far.
Not dewberry. Blueberries do well, but not dewberries. And
blueberries.
You didn't mention apple.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking about apple too. I just don't know the variety. And then too, I want the ones that will they be self-pollinating, or do I have to buy, two different, like male, female trees?
It's good questions. In a nutshell, the fruit tree like apples, pears, peaches, plums, they tell time by how many chilling hours they get in the wintertime. And that's above freezing, but below 45 refrigerator. North Mississippi gets 800-900 chilling hours. South Mississippi 200-300. Columbus is going to get somewhere around 600-800 chilling hours. So you need to make sure whatever fruit you get is within that range, because otherwise it'll either bloom too early and freeze or won't bloom at all. And that information is readily available. MSUcares.com, Mississippi State Extension website. If you just click in growing fruit, it'll have the best varieties for North, Central, and South Mississippi, the best type of fruit. I also have a publication. It's a free publication. I use it all. It's like 8 pages. I email it all the time on the best types of fruits and some of the best varieties to consider for Mississippi. I actually wrote a book called Growing Fruit in Mississippi a long time ago. But I've got all that information for free. If you'll email me, go to to a felderrushing.blog and just click on the little email me thing, or go to garden@mpbonline.org and do it that way. Anyway, apples and pears, peaches and plums, most of them need 2 different varieties, not 2 of the same, 2 different varieties fairly close to each other for cross-pollination. There's some exceptions, but in general, you're going to need 2 different ones of each. You're most likely going to have to spray peaches and plums for insects and diseases. They're the most troublesome when it comes to pests. So I would add them at last, last on the chart, because the pears, the blueberries, the apples, they don't really have a lot of serious problems. There's a fellow in North Mississippi. He's a local guy, and he spent his life as a hobby going around and identifying and collecting the kind of heirloom apples, peaches, pears, wild plum, those kind of things from Mississippi, and he grafts them onto a rootstock and he sells them. I can't remember, his name is Larry Stevenson. Anyway, are you on the Mississippi Gardening Facebook page by any chance?
I do go on there every now and again.
Okay, well, he's on there, and the name of his place is called Southern Culture. Now, you can get a lot of these plants by accident at garden centers, but he specializes in just the ones that do well for us. And so I would recommend him first and foremost. He doesn't grow what he thinks won't grow well for us. So anyway, that's your start. Email me for my list, check in with him, see what he's got. But when it comes to pruning, there's not a commercial fruit grower on earth who doesn't prune their plants the day they get put in the ground. Apples, peaches, pears, plums, mulberries, they're generally cut off between knee-high and thigh-high. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how big it is. Just cut it off, and it'll sprout out below there, and those will be the main branches, the limbs for the life of the tree. It'll produce earlier in its life, fewer problems with insect diseases, be more vigorous, but always just cut them. And fig trees, I cut them back to a foot tall. That's every time. Figs, because I want a fig bush I can pick. But the fruit trees need to be cut back. They really, really do. And it's not home gardeners have a hard time doing this. There's not a commercial grower on earth who doesn't do that, and for good reason.
Okay, so let me ask you this one other question then, Felder. Since we haven't, as they always say, the older generation hit the Easter snap, should I wait till after the Easter snap to plant these trees, or do I need to go ahead and plant them now?
No, you can plant them. Now's a good time to plant them while they're dormant. This is a great time to plant. This is perfect. Dig a wide hole, wider than you think. This is your mother's yard, right?
Okay.
This is your mother's yard?
Yes, this is over at my mother's house.
She did a lot for you. It's time for you to dig good holes for her. Wide holes. Put them in the ground, prune them back, put some mulch around so the lawnmower doesn't hit them, and then take it from there. And it'll be good.
Okay.
It'll be good.
Great. Thank you.
Email me for this list, because down the road, it makes all the difference in the world what variety you put out. It really does.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hey, email, call anytime. We appreciate you, man. And say, give Mom a hug.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and stay safe, and drink one for me.
Okay. I'm walking. See, I don't drive over here, so it's okay. Java.
Don't encourage them, Dietrich. Don't encourage them.
Oh no, I'm moderate. I'm a moderate person. I drink these really dark beers because I can make one last for 2 hours. So I go for the gemütlich type, for the cheers type of thing, not to.
Now, Felder, when you walk in the pub, do they all turn around and be like, Felder?
Yeah. Just like I go to there's a curry restaurant near here, and I walk in and say, Captain America.
Captain America, wow.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it's fun. I know this is not gardening, but Java, part of MPB is to create a feeling of community. It's Think Radio, but it's also a community thing. Especially when we have bad weather or there's strange things happening. MPB is right there, and it helps to feel like you're part of a family, and I really do. This is such a huge part of my life, being in this party with all these gardeners around.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, and like I say all the time, you just brought up the right word, community. Inside this YouTube chat, Timothy, he's always giving advice. You were talking, let's see, it was Sherry who asked about the kiwis, and you gave her information, and then Timothy came through, and Sherry was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like it's a lot going on in this community.
Well, they need to tell me because I want to know what Timothy's saying too.
Oh yeah, because you're supposed to try to check your work against Timothy. It was about the kiwis, and he threw out hardy kiwi, some fancy name, USDA zone 4 through 9, and A. I don't know. Timothy, he went super science on us.
Oh, Timothy, he's sharp. He and his mom, Miss Joan. We have a great time.
Well, we have another question from the YouTube chat, and this one is from Diana. Let's see. I have 2 very tall lemon trees. I like to prune them. Do they bloom off of old wood or new wood? I don't want to trim at the wrong time, by the way. They are cold hardy, and I grew them from seeds, and they make very nice fruit.
Yeah, they do bloom on what grew last year, but if it's too tall, it's too tall. What I would do is I would cut the tallest stuff out this year and leave some of it unpruned. Some of the lower stuff unpruned to have fruit this year. But go ahead and cut the tall stuff back whenever it needs it. Just leave some of it so you have some. And if you'll thin out the branches, a lot of times citrus plants like apples and pears, they make so many branches. If you'll thin them out to where there's fewer of them, they'll actually produce better quality fruit and hold it better. So fruit growers not only prune out the tall stuff, but they thin out a lot of the little stuff and just leave enough to have a few really good fruits on it.
Like concentrating the energy.
Exactly. Don't you wish you could do that with our kids?
Yeah, please concentrate your energy.
Yeah, we got any callers?
No, well, we are going to take a break, man. I think we all need a little breather. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself.
Oh, no. Sean wears me out. I've ridden around in his little car and all of it. Anyway, I just want to let you know I hang out with some people who make me seem kind of normal. We can take a little break, and when we come back, I've come up with something that will help keep cats out of flower beds. I really have come up with something, and it works. And we're going to talk about that and anything else. We've got the phones wide open if you want to give us a call. It's toll-free, 1-877-MPB-RING. Got lots of time to talk to you about stuff. So join me and Job and all the other folks at MPB. Stick with us, folks. A little bit of a break. We'll come back with cat deterrent and your phone calls. Got the lines wide open. So.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
All right, welcome back, folks. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. I want to talk a little bit about the cat deterrent. But first, we've got a caller wants to know about methylly plums, right?
Yeah, it's actually from the YouTube chat. Let's see.
Okay.
This is Felicia, and Felicia says, I have 2 methylly plums in ground. Should they have green on them? So far, nothing, just twigs. Any advice?
Yeah. It's a little bit early. It's a little bit early for that. A lot of fruit trees are budding out right now, but they haven't really leafed out. So it's a little bit early on that. I think it's a good idea, even though they're still dormant, to prune them a little bit. Methylly is a good plum. I'm curious about whether hers makes plums or not. I think methylly is one that's supposed to be self-fertile. I don't remember where it just takes one. I just don't remember on that. But no, they shouldn't be leafing out right now. A lot of plants are leafing out early because we had a cold winter. That warm spell we just had makes them think it's spring. But it's early. We think of March, before they really start budding out good. A little bit early on methylly.
Now, it's interesting what you just said, and I'm always curious about this. When you talk about they're self-pollinating and people go out to garden centers and they buy things or whatnot, how would you know if it's self-pollinating or you need to get a male and a female plant? Is this just something you would know in your research or something?
Yeah, there's not many separate male and female plants. Our native persimmons, separate male and female. The males will always have flowers. The females will only have fruit if they get pollinated. Some of the muscadine varieties are female, and you have to have a self-pollinating variety that will pollinate itself and others. But most of the stuff we grow, the vegetables and things like that, are self-fertile. They're wind pollinated, insect pollinated, something like that. The really big concern is with fruit plants. A few fruit plants will flower, but they won't make fruit unless get pollen from another nearby variety, cross-pollination. And that's just the way it is. There are a few self-pollinating fruit trees, but apples, pears, peaches, plums, but most of them need 2 different varieties. And by the way, Java, this is a little bit of a deep dive, but this is the reason why a lot of people grow fruit from seed. They have a really nice peach or a great apple or a pear or whatever, and they save the seeds and they plant it. And it's real interesting. It's fun. It's easy. It's a good hobby. But first of all, it takes seedlings several years, 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 7 or 8 years to reach maturity before just like we go through the child stage and the juvenile stage and then adult. Those fruit trees grown from seed can take years before they start producing. But because they were cross-pollinated, they're probably not going to be the same fruit as what you bought. So when you eat a peach, chances are the seed is a hybrid of whatever peach is growing around it. So, it's always going to be, it's fun, but it's just a gamble because of cross-pollination. Now, some plants like squash have got separate male and female flowers on the same plant. Corn does too. The tassels at the top, you thump them, this pollen comes out, and the silks, those are female flowers. They have to have the pollen from the tassels get on the female flower. Squash has separate male and female flowers. They look alike, but one's got a little pollen thing and one's got a little curly thing. And bees move the pollen from the male to the female. But you can do it by plucking the flowers off and doing it yourself. But it's not that complicated. But for the most part, fruit trees are the thing that I'd be most concerned with cross-pollination.
Okay. And Felicia, she did jump back into the chat. The question about the plums, she said, not yet, just planted last year. And yes, they are self-pollinating.
Good. I thought they were, but I'm just not sure how well. Because a lot of the times self-fertile ones will have more fruit if you have a different variety. If she just planted last year, I would encourage her to prune it this year. I bet she didn't. But, plum trees, peaches, pears, apples, I always cut them off between knee and waist high, always. And what I would do this year, right now, before they leaf out, is go out and look at the trunk and see if you can find the best 3 or 4, maybe 5 branches are growing in different directions, and cut off everything but those. Cut off any little twigs, anything that's growing in, and sort of like I describe, if somebody's holding a baseball up in the air with their fingers wrapped around the baseball straight up, and then pull the baseball out, the fingers are still spread out. That's what you want this tree to look like, a trunk and several spread out limbs, and then anything that's growing inward or little stuff, just thin it out. A trunk, some 3 or 4 or 5 main branches, and then anything that's growing inward, I'd cut that off. This is really, really important. And it'll actually produce fruit earlier in its life if you do this.
And there you go.
Nobody wants to hear this, y'all.
But no, that's a good. I mean, you. It needs to be a segment called Felder Explains It All. Like you explained it all right there.
Can we do movies on this thing?
What do you mean movies?
No, I don't need to. No, don't tell me. I don't need to know. I got too much to know already.
No, yes. The answer is yes, Felder. We can do anything. We can do anything.
Can you make me sound tall and smart, Java?
Well, I mean, we do have limitations.
Anybody who wants to know about pruning young fruit trees, just go to YouTube or anything like that and just type in how to prune young fruit trees. And there'll be dozens of things that all say the same exact thing. But sometimes you have to see things to understand that. So, hey, if we got a caller, can I show the cat deterrent thing?
Yeah, you teased that a little bit. Let's go ahead with that.
Okay. First of all, I have cats come through my yard. They're not my cat. I like cats. Strange cats come up to me when I walk at night. When I'm at people's house, the cats get in my, cats like me and I like them. But my neighbor's cats, I really don't want them in my yard because it's a natural habitat and they eat my lizards and my birds and stuff. But besides that, I just don't want them in my yard. They're not my cats. But I have found a product there's no sprays, there's all these things, pine cones, all sorts of things. But I found this product. Let's see if we can put up picture number 15. This is a product that you can get at Amazon. I haven't seen it in garden centers, but it's a product at Amazon, and it looks like a bubble wrap you put around your pots and all. It's got little pointy, it's like bubble wrap with points on it.
Oh, if you would not have told me, Felder, that was bubble wrap, I would. That looks kind of dangerous with those points.
Yeah, but it's not that pointed. Well, let's show photo number 16. This is a little bit easier. You get this stuff in rolls. It's like netting that's got little spiky things on it, and it doesn't hurt the cats. It's just plastic. You can step on it barefoot, and you'll wish you had flip flops on, but it's not going to hurt. But there are rolls of this cat deterrent fabric that you can get in squares. You can cut it to fit. You can put it around plants, put it in potted plants. But if you lay this stuff out, your flowers and all will grow up through it, but the cats won't dig around in it. So this is very safe. They use this for pigeons in train stations, keep them from roosting in certain places. But this is the type of fabric that rolls out to deter cats in flower beds. It works like a charm. It's safe. It doesn't look bad. You can cover it with mulch. You can't even see it. But this is something that when I saw this, I said, this will work. I'll get them now.
Felder, I'm glad you explained that this is plastic because it looks
terrible.
It looks like, when the police or maybe the highway patrol, the spike strips. That's exactly what it looks like.
It looked like that, but and there's different brands of different shapes and sizes. But again, it's fairly soft plastic. It's not dangerous, not going to stab anything, but it's just very uncomfortable. And because it's a fabric, the cats can't dig around and pull on it because they're standing on it. So anyway, it's safe, it's effective, and if you cover it with mulch, nobody can tell.
Yeah, I can see how it works.
Yeah, but this is there's always a question: how to keep cats out of my beds because their poop has got poison and stuff you don't want. You don't want to dig around in cat poop and then chew your fingernails. It's bad for you. So anyway, this is just one of those things I thought I'd throw out.
Now I do have a couple questions from the email that just came in. Of course, I'm gonna have to get this roses list from you, this PDF that you have. Yeah. Because I got a couple requests from that at garden@mpbonline.org. But I also got a question from Mary. And Mary says, I love the wild asters in our pastures and large front yard that I'm slowly converting into a native plant landscape. Should I cut down the asters every winter / early spring after they bloom or just leave them as they are?
That's a really good question. And for neatness sake, you want to cut them down. But two things. A lot of the native asters in the same family as sunflowers and zinnias, and even though that you don't notice their seeds are tiny, but there's a lot of birds like goldfinches. A lot of little birds eat those seeds. It's important. So you leave the seed heads up. I think they're kind of pretty. Botanic gardens leave it because it's interesting. But also there's a whole lot of pollinator insects that overwinter down in the lower stems and stuff. So if you want to just cut some of it for neatness sake, don't cut it to the ground, leave some of the stubble there for the overwintering insects. But leave the seed heads up at least until, late February or March for the birds. Let me throw this out. I also have a free publication on native plants and wildflowers in the landscape, how to get away with using this kind of, because meadows are not natural in Mississippi. Meadows are the first step towards woods. You have to mow a meadow at least once every year. It doesn't work here. They're temporary. But there's some tricks on how to do this, how to mow certain areas one year and not mow the next. Also, how to put hard features out there like a log or an old tractor or some birdhouses on sticks. Something that a little like a naturalistic sculpture that makes it look good year round. That's really important. But also it has the type of plants that are best suited, not just wildflowers, but good garden quality native plants. So when she's shooting me an email for the rose thing, put native plants in there too, or wildflowers. That'll help.
Okay, and I got another question. We coming up on the end of the show, but this is from Rebecca in Wesson, and says, Felder, will my gardenia shrubs come back after that bad freeze? They are in ground with brown leaves. What do I need to do to them?
Okay. While I'm answering that, if I could get them to put up photo number 5, then I'll talk about that at the end. Photo number 5 is pretty timely. Anyway, gardenias should do fine. If they look bad, if you'll scratch the bark, right under the bark, it should be bright green. Keep scratching down until you find bright green. If it's not bright green, it's dead, needs to be pruned, but prune it back to where under the bark is bright green. They'll sprout out real fast, and they bloom on new growth. So, you can prune gardenias like you do a rose. You don't have to prune them hard, but scratch and check for that bright green tissue right under it. And if it's there, prune it back a little bit. They'll spread out nice and fresh, be perfectly fine. Now, this picture that I put up, Java, that's the 2 most commonly blooming white trees along the roadside right now. On the right, that tall plant, that's a wild pear. They've escaped from cultivation, and it can consider kind of invasive. Good pollinator plants, good fruit plants, but they're invasive, and they can take over some woodlands. But that's a wild pear. They're upright, look like trees. But in the far background on the left side, little rounded mass, little colony of small white flowers. That's our native plum. Some people call it Chickasaw plum. It's a real dependable producer, rarely gets the insects and diseases. Both of these are pretty plants, but if you're not sure of the difference, wild pears and wild plums, the pears are more upright. They got stiff upward branches. The plums are more a little rounded, like large overgrown shrubs.
No, bigly. Bigly's fine.
There you go. And we're also seeing our native swamp red maple with their samaras. They're little fruit-looking things. Seed-looking things are showing. They're just covered with red right now with no leaves. So we got some pretty stuff. And I'm not waiting for spring, Java. We're not waiting for spring. We're enjoying and savoring this wonderful southern winter where we have a lot of stuff, daffodils and all that to bloom. So gather ye daffodils while ye may, and prune ye fruit trees while ye may.
And just prepare for the snap. Some things are starting to poke their heads out because I think today it's like 76 degrees out, and it's going to be that way maybe for the weekend. And but they're going to go back down because we will have that Easter snap.
Yeah, that late cold snap, which usually happens in March, it's called blackberry winter. Because that's when the blackberries bloom. We always get a cold snap called blackberry winter, and it's coming. And this may not be this one. We may get one 3 weeks from now. But just keep in mind, there's plenty of time for summertime, plenty of time for spring. Let's enjoy what we have today. And I appreciate all the folks who call in, and Timothy for helping me out with the Kiwi answer. So that's what we do. We just be community. We don't all know it. Some of us know stuff we wish you didn't know. Someone's going to argue about stuff. That's okay. It's Think Radio, and I'm glad MPB has made it possible for all of us to get together, really. So, I'm running out of stuff to say, John. Are we out of time yet?
Yeah, we got about 10 seconds.
Okay. See y'all next week. Go out and do what we do best, and that's get dirty.